What's up, YouTube? Today something crazy happened. Today Adobe dropped, during Adobe Max, Illustrator for the iPad. Now, if you remember, just a couple weeks ago I just did a video talking about Photoshop on the iPad and how it really hadn't improved that much. And in that video I made reference to the fact that Adobe Illustrator for iPad had still not come out. It had been almost a year since it had been announced, and I thought we might be seeing more of the same as what we saw with Photoshop. And then here, out of the blue, I guess it's not totally out of the blue. I mean, it is Adobe Max. All the updates are coming out, but I hadn't heard anything. I hadn't seen anybody with preview copies of Adobe Illustrator, and then here it came out, available for everyone to download today. So I jumped on and downloaded it, and I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. So you're going to see what I'm seeing as we go ahead and we look at this new Adobe program. Old Adobe program. I don't know what we're going to see. Will it be amazing, or will it be another terrible disappointment? And you have to understand that this is a much bigger deal for me than Photoshop was, right? Because I've basically been waiting for Illustrator to come out for the iPad for years. Like, since the iPad Pro originally came out and it was like, okay, there could be real creative potential in the iPad, I've been waiting for Illustrator to come out because it is like my bread and butter, my favorite thing to do. And of course, we've had Affinity Designer for years, and down the road I'll do a video comparing them, but we've now had Affinity Designer on the iPad for years, so it's not like I've really been missing Illustrator that much for a little bit. But I'm really excited to see what this is. You know, I'm biased against Adobe to start out with, so we'll see what I think as we go in here. As you can see, I've got my creative apps here on my iPad, and we need to see if Adobe Illustrator gets to stand among them, and we'll see what we can find out now. Haven't opened it yet. Going to hop in and see what's there. So let's tap in here. Adobe Illustrator, Adobe Creative Cloud, like you'd expect. Continue with your Adobe ID. Continue with Apple. If you don't have an account, you can sign up. So let's go ahead, let's continue with Adobe ID. And I think what I want to do is try and see what you would see if you didn't pay for it, right? If you didn't, because I don't know what the limitations are going to be on it. So let's go ahead and we'll try signing in. All right, so let's see what we get here. It says we have easy pro level design. We'll see about that. We'll see if that's true. Get started with a 1 month free trial. So it looks like if you don't pay for it, you just get a 1 month free trial. And you do have to choose to subscribe now. And it says lots to discover. 17,000 fonts, just telling you about Creative Cloud stuff. And it says so much more is coming. Okay, that's not a great sign because that's what we saw in Photoshop. So much more is coming. There's going to be more. It's going to be better, but it never has been yet. So let's see. It says it's always getting better. New features are rolling out regularly. Okay, I am not going to subscribe since I already have an account, but I just wanted to see what it would look like if you didn't have an account. It looks like you can get a 1 month free trial. Let's go ahead and sign out. I'll sign back in with my Adobe ID. Okay, I'm all signed in. And remember, this is just a first impressions video. We're just going to be going through it, seeing if the things that we want to see are there, if it's intuitive to use. It's just going to be a first impression, seeing what we can see. So I do not want to allow notifications. And let's go ahead and let's jump in. I don't really care what size it is. Let's just start out with a web size of 1920, and we'll see what we get. So I click that and then create new. I am using a pencil to see what that's like. It looks like it's automatically set up for a right-handed person. Doesn't seem to think it's important to ask about that, but nothing does. I can drag the tool over here to the right-hand side. And let's see what we have. Let's make sure that we can draw a shape first off. Okay, we've got rectangle, ellipse, triangle, and star. I'm assuming that's polygon. Which means they've changed the polygon sign to be a triangle, which is interesting. So let's just try this. Square, hold down a finger, hold down on the button. Okay, that's how we get that. And move out to the bigger button. This is kind of Adobe's thing. They've got the little contextual button and then the outside of the contextual button, which changes what happens. So we can keep it in proportion, or we can keep it in proportion around a center point. Okay. Which is different than what Affinity does, right? Which is use multiple fingers on the screen to do different things. But that's fine. Okay, so we've got our square. Looks like we can adjust corners. Good. That's good, like that. So we get a rounded rectangle. And then we've got this little menu here. Hopefully this is color. No, that's opacity. This is a stroke width. Okay. Okay, so we don't have to hop over on the right-hand side for that. Don't know how to change my fill, though. I'm assuming there's a color somewhere to change my fill. This is a, stacking order. Okay, we'll try that in a second when we have more on. This is a, you tap on the arrows to move. Okay. Lock it. Unlock it. Okay. Duplicate it. Okay, great. Now we can try out that stacking order. So stacking order. Back and forth, back and forth. Okay. I see my fill now. It's over here. Make it red. Okay, cool. And then there's a delete. Delete that. Great. Let's try the ellipse. Okay, same. Of course, and it keeps that fill color there. It looks like we've got a swap. Okay, great. All right, let's see if we can merge these together. So when I touch it with the pencil, instead of trying to draw a new ellipse, it automatically seems to switch to the move tool. And then the move tool will allow me to move it around, obviously. Okay, so we've got that. Now let's try selecting both of them. Just going to try dragging around. Okay, that's intuitive. That's what we'd expect. Shape builder. That must be group. That must be the group button. Okay, so this menu changes based on what you've got. Let's see if we have a shape builder tool. Not seeing a shape builder tool that's jumping out at me, but maybe it's under something else. Let's try just checking what tools we have here. I think if I hold down, I can get a tooltip. No. Anyway, that's a direct selection tool. Pen tool, pencil, blob brush. Okay, there we go. Eraser, shapes, text, vertical text, artboard, okay, and an import. Okay, so that's what we've got for tools. It's a little thin on the tools. I don't know, though, if there's more tools on the right-hand side or if that's just going to be panels. Let's try selecting these again. We're still looking for what we've got. So layers, properties panel. Okay, perfect. I can handle fill and stroke from in the properties panel as well. Blend modes, stroke options. Okay, that's great. That's good. Snapping, grid. Great, great, great. Okay, good. Guides, on and off. Okay, this is shape builder. Perfect. Okay, so with the shape builder tool, because shape builder is the big deal, right? That's one of the things that we've said we need in Affinity Designer that we don't have. We have Pathfinder operations, but not the shape builder tool. And the shape builder tool has just always been so much more convenient. So let's see what this can do. Because when you just tap it, it's only showing you Pathfinder operations, right? Divide all, minus, intersect, exclude, combine. But what we want is the actual shape builder option to, yes, okay. So let's see how we undo. Okay, 2-finger tap, good, they're following the normal way of doing things there. Okay, so let's try and see if we can subtract. Yes. Okay, so then we get this little guy. And what happens if we select? Okay, then they're one shape merged together but with two different parts. Can I tap in? Oh, and I can tap in and adjust that. Okay, that's good. That is good news. The shape builder tool is there, seems to be functional, and I think we can be happy about that. This is the first time we've had legitimate shape builder tool on iPad. So that is good news indeed. So let's go ahead and let's keep going down the side here and looking at these since we're over here. So it looks like we have edit, which is a cut, okay. Paste, copy, okay. Copy appearance, paste appearance. Okay, so if I copy the appearance, then if I tap on here, paste appearance. Okay, cool. That's convenient. That's nice. Glad we have that there. I don't think there's a copy appearance in Affinity Designer that I've ever seen. I don't think so. I think it's just the eyedropper tool. So that's cool. Alignment tools right there. Perfect. Alignment, distribute. Very nice. Object tools. Expand, group, clipping mask, create stroke outline. Great. These are things we need. Type tools. Okay, so you can make it smaller or bigger with that little arrow. I wasn't sure what that was for. Path tools and a repeat. Oh, very nice. Repeating grid. Mirror. Oh, nice. I want to do that. Okay. Cool. Okay, so we've got that. That's making me wonder where rotation is. So it looks like rotation is right up at the top. We can just rotate that. Is this zoom up at the top? That's zoom. So we can go back and forth on that. And there's undo, redo buttons up at the top, and information button, tour, view gestures. That's probably a good thing we should probably know. 2-finger tap to undo, we knew that. Okay, edit points, double tap on a selected object to edit points. Nice. So that must be like going into isolation mode, scrub, left and right. Good, good, I love that. Fit to view. Okay, so not a ton of gestures, but some. Okay. I wonder if that help will change depending on if we are on an object or not. No. So, that. Touch shortcuts. Okay, so that's different. So primary, secondary. So there's the primary down one side and the secondary down another. Okay, great. Scale from corner. Scale non-proportionally scale from center. Okay, cool. Brake handle pairing, move point, create shape. Okay. Let's try another shape here. Try polygon. We can drag that out. Same things here. What I don't know is how to change the number of sides on the polygon. Maybe in properties. Let's try that. There we go. 8 sides, octagon. Great. Okay, so not hard. Pretty easy to figure out so far. I'm pleased with that because Photoshop was really pretty difficult to figure out. Let's go in, let's see. Okay, view mode to outlines. Okay, so most things that I would expect to see are actually here, and that's good. That's what we need when we go into design. We need a fully featured program. So looks like we've got app settings. Okay, we can change from left to right. Color theme options. Go back to dark. Oh, nice. Okay, so there's the dark mode. Go to lightest for now. And scale, strokes, and effects can be set here. East Asian type options. Hopefully that means that things will type correctly. That's been a problem in the Affinity programs. So if this works correctly here, that could be a big deal for people working in those languages. All right, Apple Pencil, palm rejection can be on or off. Touch, show taps as blue dots. Oh, then you guys can see what I'm tapping. Great. Units, points, about it, and help options. Okay, let's go ahead and let's try out the star. So 5-point star to start out with. Let's see if we can round those corners. There we go. Make those not quite so harsh. There we go. Good. Change the opacity we can if we need to. All right, let's find our number of star points. Oh, there's rotation. Okay. Oh, good. I'm so glad that they brought in the little calculator layout like Affinity Designer has, because that is so useful. 0. I do not see the option to change the number of points a star has, but maybe that's because I already messed with it. On the polygon, I had that option. On the star, I do not have that option. So it looks like a 5-pointed star is all you get. I don't think that's going to be a deal breaker for anyone. 5-point star is the normal star that you would use. And almost every other star can be made out of other shapes. 6-pointed stars, 2 triangles, right? So it's going to be fine. But just to note that that's a feature that doesn't seem to be there. Okay, so that looks like we've tapped on pretty much everything that we can tap on. And so that's what we've got. Obviously, there are tons of tools from Illustrator that are not here. All right, I mean, there's the tools in Illustrator go on and on down the left-hand side. Things like the width tool, I don't see that here. Could be here under stroke someplace maybe. I don't know. The blend tool, I don't see a blend tool. There's definitely seems to be blending options, blend modes, but the blend tool, which will take 2 objects and make steps in between them or morph them together. There, I don't see a gradient. That might be under the fill settings. Let's just check. Freeform gradient is one of the things I wish would be brought to Affinity Designer. So if that's here, it could be a big deal. Let's go to fill and gradient. And got that. Okay, so the gradient tool has just been subsumed into the fill, which is fine. That's a great way to do it. I don't know if this is freeform. Yes. Yes, it is. Okay, so that's another big deal. There's the freeform gradient. And so it looks like you need a little bit of digging, but you can find almost everything here. It doesn't look like there's a gradient option for the stroke. I never really used that very often, so that probably isn't going to be the end of things. Let's go to swatches, color books. Okay. Yeah, that's great. Other things that that could come over would be like the graphing tool. I definitely don't see a graphing tool, but that is pretty advanced. I wouldn't necessarily expect it. It's not something that Affinity Designer has. So I haven't tried to design anything in here yet. I'm not going to try and do a full design project here today, right? We'll try that at another time. We'll compare it to Affinity Designer and how we can do design projects and how they compare in doing design projects. We'll do that another time. But this, I just wanted to come in here, get my feet wet in the program, see if it made me really mad. And it didn't make me really mad, actually. I'm surprised. I was really expecting to be disappointed with this program, and maybe it's just that the actual core features of Illustrator are a little bit simpler than the core features of Photoshop. It's really dealing with just these shapes that you're using to design things, right? That's a lot of what you do. You aren't trying to do things that are as resource intensive as you are in Photoshop when you're working with those photos, and you don't have things like raw images that you're trying to deal with that Photoshop couldn't deal with when we were looking at it last time. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe it was easier to bring the core functionality over. Still took them a long time to get here. Obviously, it would have really appreciated it if Illustrator had been on the iPad 5 years ago. But, you know, we got to take what we can get. Hopefully this means that Adobe's moving in the right direction. This seems a lot better. Hopefully they'll be able to make Photoshop better and more comparable as well. We'll see if we can actually do design work here, full design work. I don't want to have to take it to the desktop app to finish things out. And it looks like for icon design, logo design, I could be able to do it. I'm not an Illustrator, so I don't know. We didn't really try out the pencil tool. It looks pretty well put together. If you're already subscribing to Adobe Creative Cloud and you have an iPad, I think it's worth it for you to download on it. Now, I downloaded it onto my 2017 iPad Pro. I haven't tried it on a lower end iPad. I don't know if it will work on those or not for sure. But Photoshop could be downloaded on them, so hopefully this will work on there as well. No limitations jump out at me right away. I didn't see anything where it said like coming soon and was a major feature. There definitely are more tools in the desktop version, and there are more tools in Affinity Designer for sure. But it worked. It hasn't crashed. And so I'd say for the first time, Adobe bringing this to the iPad, this is pretty impressive for what we've come to expect from Adobe. Because what we've come to expect from Adobe is something that is not good on the iPad and not really usable, especially in its first iteration. And this seems good. This seems usable. I think you could go ahead and design something in here. So go ahead and drop in the comments. Let me know if you've downloaded Adobe Illustrator onto your iPad, if you've started using it, and what you think of it. Are there things there that you didn't think would be there that you're excited are there? Are there things that are missing that you really need for your design workflow and you still can't do all of your work here? If you don't have a Creative Cloud account, I have lots of videos on alternative software, so go ahead and check those out. By no means do you need to get Adobe Illustrator on your iPad in order to do vector work on your iPad. There are other great options, including Affinity Designer, which I've been talking about a lot, Vectorinator, and Assembly. So go ahead and take a look at those as well. And remember, I have courses on many programs, which I will link to in the description of this video. All right, we'll chat in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.